welcome back to the Pantry Kitchen. I'm Catherine, and today we are going back to the basics. We are doing a staple that I learned in school, and it is choux paste or pâte choux, and we're gonna make cream puffs with it. So you can also make eclairs and other little treats with it, but we're gonna do cream puffs today. So simple ingredients to start with, and then you can fill it with whatever you want. So I have an awesome pastry cream recipe here on the channel, so you can fill the cream puffs with that and then dip them in chocolate. We're gonna just do some simple whipped cream, and then we're gonna dip them in chocolate, top maybe a little bit of sea salt, and then they're ready to eat. So grab your ingredients, we'll head over to the stove to start, and let's go. All-purpose flour, eggs, unsalted butter, milk and water, and a little bit of salt.
Are you talking through this, or are you gonna tell them what's going on?
Yeah, just melted.
We're melting what, butter?
Alright, so we've got equal parts of milk and water in the saucepan with the unsalted butter, and we're just going to bring that to a roaring boil. You want it to be really, really strong bubbles, and everything to be, the butter to be completely melted. And then I'll show you when it gets to that point, we're going to add the little pinch of salt I added to my flour, and then we'll add in the flour. So we're basically making the dough component, we're cooking it on the stove, and then we're going to transfer it to the stand mixer. Alright, so you can see we're almost at a roaring boil. It is bubbling all around the sides. We want to start seeing some more in the center first before we go ahead and add in our flour. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat down to medium and pour all in our flour all at once, and just vigorously with a wooden spoon combine all of that in there until it gets to a dough. So I'm on medium heat. See how it's pulling away from the sides? That's exactly what we want. So just cook this for just like 30 more seconds, because we don't want any raw flour bits. Okay, and it's pulling away from the sides like that, so we'll go ahead and take it off and put this directly in our stand mixer. So we're looking for anywhere between 110 to 140 degrees. Because I'd prefer it down to the 110 than a little bit hotter. Alright, so now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start slowly adding my eggs. You don't want to add more than a third at a time. You want this to go really slow, and you don't want to add any more egg until the first batch was already incorporated. So on low speed, I'm just going to slowly add in my egg. This is a half batch. I'm just going to go ahead and scrape the sides just so everything gets fully incorporated. you can see that it's a nice paste. So one more time, I'm just going to scrape it down, and then we're gonna mix this all together, and then we're ready to go. So we want this to be a paste, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, what do I do with that? So in a very hot oven, 425 degrees is what I have mine prepped to. This is going to go in a piping bag. And what happened is the steam is going to hit it in the oven, and then it is going to basically become hollow. So that's what you want. So I'm just transferring this into my bag. And just fitted with like a medium to large round tip. I've got a large baking sheet here lined with parchment to help adhere the parchment to the baking sheet. We're going to use a little bit of the choux paste, and then that will help it stick. All right, so I'm gonna clean everything up, and then we're ready to pipe. All right, so everything is cleaned up, and now we're ready to pipe. So I've got my, this is an 805 tip, so it's like a medium to large round tip in my piping bag. I've got my choux paste ready to go, and all I'm gonna do is dot the four corners with just a little bit of the choux paste, and then that will help stick our parchment paper down so that it doesn't move when we start piping. So these are going to expand up rather than out. You do want to space them out on your sheet so they're not super close together, but you don't really have to worry about them spreading kind of like cookies. These are going to go upwards, not as far out. So all I'm going to do is go ahead, go down and pipe small circles and droplets. So we will show you that up close. So cute. 3, 6, 9, 12, 18. A lot. Now we got 3, 6, 7 times 5. It's 35. All right, so the next step before they go into the oven, all these kind of little peaks that they're gonna make, and that's okay, we're gonna get rid of them because we don't really want that. So we're just gonna kind of go with a little bit of water in a dish and your finger and just kind of tap on them on the top because we want that little peak to go away. And like I said, these are going to steam in the oven, and how we're gonna kind of achieve that so that they puff up nicely and become hollow so that we can fill them is that we are going to just, with this water, we're just gonna splash it all over them gently. So then that will create steam in our very hot oven. So at 425, they're gonna go 10 minutes. Then after the 10 minutes, we're gonna drop it down to 375, and then they'll go until they're like dark, like medium brown and nice and crisp. Now I'm just going to flick them with our water, and then we're gonna pop them in the oven. All right, ready? put anything
So
in the
graceful.
oven before.
So graceful.
Alright, so here are our cream puffs fresh out of the oven. So they were in the oven at 425 for 10 minutes, and then we lowered it to 375 for between 13 and 15. You want them to be nice golden brown on the top and to be nice and crisp and light, and that you can remove them right from the tray and nice and golden brown on the bottom. So what we're going to do is we have to let these cool completely before we can fill them and dip them in chocolate. But when they are cool, we'll show you how to do that. All right, so our cream puffs are all cooled. So now I'm just gonna whip up some cream. I remember that I had caramel sauce in the fridge. So what I'm gonna do is actually make like a caramel whipped cream to fill them and then dip them in chocolate, because caramel and chocolate is literally the best combination. So that's what we're gonna do. And I don't need all of these. I have to save some for an order. So I'm just gonna show you how to dip and fill a couple, and then you'll be able to do yours too. All right, so our whipped cream is all whipped up. I only added a little bit, maybe like a tablespoon of icing sugar into the amount of cream. I kind of just eyeball it, to be honest, but I knew I was adding my caramel sauce, which is already sweet. It is sweet and salty, so I just didn't want to add too much. So I'm just going to take my time. I'm just going to fold this in because we don't want to lose all of that air that we just worked to do. So you can flavor your whipped cream any way you want, but I just think that this combination is going to be really good. And I'm going to kind of leave a little bit of the streaking of the caramel too, so that when you bite into the cream puff, you get a little bit of caramel, a little bit of whipped cream. All right, I'm going to leave it like that. Then I'm going to take my piping bag. I'm not even going to put a tip because you can just cut it. You don't need a tip. And then put it in my bag. There we go. All right, so like I said, I'm not going to do all of these. Better check it. Oh my goodness, it's delicious. So with a little skewer, you can use a toothpick too if you don't have a skewer. I am going to just work from the bottom because that's the part you won't really see. And I'm just going to puncture a little hole and then just kind of work my way, kind of to make like an opening for your piping bag. Doesn't need to be too big. And just take your time. Okay, so take my pastry bag and just going in the hole that I made, and I like to fill it upside down so that the kind of gravity can help me fill it. And I just press. Like I said, you'll be able to feel the puff being filled up, and just take your time. And just make sure you get enough filling in there. And I wanted to note, if you are serving these the day you're making them, you can go ahead and fill them and then serve them. If you're making them, let's say the day before, like I have an order tomorrow for cream puffs, then what I'm going to do is just save, make sure that they're completely dried out. Once they are, I'm just gonna put them in a plastic bag, and then they'll be able to keep, and then I'll fill them fresh tomorrow and dip them and everything like that. If you do them ahead of time, you can, it's okay. I would only recommend like a day, or maybe if you were serving them at night but you wanted to get it done in the morning, you could do that. But what I would do is finish them all, put them, whether it's like a smaller tray or something like that, or a Tupperware, and then store them in the fridge, because then that's going to be, obviously you're now hydrating the choux again, right? So it dried out, it's dry for a reason, and then you're filling it, so it's going to get nice and soft. So you want to keep them in the fridge if you're not serving them right away. So I'm going to go ahead and just dip about half. I still want to see the choux underneath, but this will give them a beautiful 1 taste, 2 texture, and nice shine as well. And they just look so polished. And I think what I'm going to do to aid in that, or just drop it in there. I think what I'm going to do too is add a bit of Maldon salt on the top, because we have that caramel in there, and it is salted caramel, and salt and chocolate go very well together as well. It's a nice flavor enhancer, and it'll give just a little extra pizzazz to the top. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some of that on while the chocolate is still wet.
That was great.
Oh my god, I didn't think it would do that. I just couldn't wait. I was already ready to taste it for you. So these are the cream puffs that we've finished. And of course, no video is complete without a taste test. This one had a little
Explosion.
a little explosion. And so that's all right. We just take our knife, we just put it all back on there. So oh my god. I'm telling you, that caramel whipped cream with the chocolate and the salt, these are perfect for your next party, your next event.
For yourself?
For yourself on a Friday night, because they didn't take that long. Their bake time is only about 20-ish minutes, so they don't take long to prepare, and they're super foolproof, easy. So don't forget, we'll have the recipe down below for you. If you make these, be sure to tag me on Instagram. I love seeing your recreations. And don't forget, smile lots. Bye, guys.